welcome to All Queens Considered. It's our Game of Thrones after show where we break down the latest theories, well guys, the hot damn moments, and what's next for the land of Westeros. If you are just joining us for the first time, we're live on both Nerdist YouTube and Geek and Sundry's Twitch, so be sure to subscribe, that way we can take your comments and questions throughout this show and additional shows. And speaking of the audience, today we're doing a giveaway for our fans. We have a Night King prize pack we're giving away to a lucky member of the chat. For the full details, let's check in with our very own three-eyed raven, Lee Travis, who watches over the chat. Lee, tell us about this giveaway.
You can't prove I'm a three-eyed raven, but it's all right. So we have a great prize pack from HBO today. If you head over to our Twitch chat and type in Night King, one word, you have a chance to win, and we'll select a winner by the end of the show.
Awesome.
Super simple.
That's very simple. I appreciate that. Now, last night was the third episode of Game of Thrones' final season, and that means it's time to break it down. So beware, like winter, spoilers are here, and with that, let's meet our panel. Joining us today is the Warden of Nerdist, Rachel Hine.
Hi, hello. I have feelings.
I had feelings. It was just stress.
Yeah, no, I know.
I had one feeling the whole time. Like, oh God. Also joining us is first of her name, Amy Warple.
I legit, during our watch party, in a very earnest and angry, rageful way, said, "All right, lock it up," because people were like talking.
Oh, really?
I don't watch with so I'm a nice person, but I don't know.
I think
she can be tempted.
I think that is completely legit
Thank
to
you.
yell at people for talking over the final season of Game of
I'm
Thrones.
gonna be a great mom.
I think you need. Yes, you will. As well as friend of Nerdist and breaker of chains, it's Geek Bomb's Maude Garrett. So Maude, what are you working on right now? What can you tell us?
I'm doing a bunch of Game of Thrones things on Geek Bomb as well. I actually did all seasons 1 to 7 recaps in under 10 minutes.
Whoa.
And I do episode recaps in 90 seconds.
Holy crap.
So I'm like the TLDW happening right here. Yeah. It's stressful, but it's great.
Did you end up rewatching everything?
The whole season,
Really?
everything from the start. I watched the whole thing, and everyone's like, "Wow, you seem so busy." And I'm like, "I've sacrificed everything."
I mean, yeah, that's like a good 2 months that you
Easily.
wouldn't see somebody.
Yeah.
I do that too, but just for fun.
You guys are quite committed. And finally, another friend of Nerdist and Lord of the Andals and the First Men, Danielle Radford. Danielle, what are you working on right now?
So I am one of the newest writers on the Honest trailers on Screen Junkies.
Oh, fantastic.
So yeah, if you like those, sometimes those jokes are mine. We recently did the Howard the Duck Honest trailer, which came out last week in honor of Endgame. We wanted to take it back to where it started, which was with 1980s stellar masterpiece, Howard the Duck. We have another one coming up soon. We also do the Honest trailer commentaries. You can find me all over SJ News and on Fandom doing the writing thing.
She's not ducking around.
Oh dear. Immediately.
That better
be
some Dornish wine. Also, can I just say, your highlighter looks amazing today. I am sitting in the perfect spot to just admire that highlighter.
It's ColourPop.
Oh, of course. I love ColourPop. All right, anyway.
Your hair.
My hair? Well, the hair is there, shoot, for a reason. I noticed a dress sitch. All right. With that, let's get into last night's episode. Thanks for telling me about that, B-Comp.
No, it's just in the mic, that's all.
Do you need a safety pin? There's one in my back.
You just need this like necklace
You know
with
what?
a
We'll
big
just
red
do
stone
this.
in it somehow.
There we go. Now, without diving too deep into things, let's get into our initial impressions of the third episode called The Long Night. Now, lots of thoughts on the internet. Some people loved this episode. Some people thought it was decent. Our own Michael Walsh wrote on Nerdist.com that it delivered an epic but anticlimactic end for the Battle of Winterfell, which I was against until I heard Rachel tell me what the actual specific thing he's calling out is. And then I gotta say, hard agree. Yes, there were deaths, but for the most part, they felt ho-hum. Now, while we get into the deaths a little later, what did you guys think overall? Whoever wants to start, free for all. Danielle.
Oh, geez. So overall, I am I always feel like I have to say spoilers as though people have not already seen it. Yeah, so surprised at so few deaths. I was ready for a Winterfell massacre. And I think some people are actually disappointed that not all their favorites died. And to them I ask, who hurt you?
Yeah.
There's a list. No, I'm just kidding. I have a list. Sometimes people stay on it.
Totally agree with you, Hart. Like, I didn't want to see everybody die, but I was also expecting at least one key player to go out, which I guess, you know, we'll get to it later, but yeah, I was expecting that one, like, super uber shock and didn't really feel like it got delivered.
I feel like Game of Thrones has never shied away from killing off major players. I mean, with the fact that Ned Stark dies in season 1, you're just like, oh, game on, I get it. And then this is the battle that has been 8 seasons or 7.5 seasons in the making, where they're battling undead, and this, like, I was going to say there's more steaks on my plate at dinner that night. Like, I just feel like that they weren't, like, the odds were stacked against them. There should have been a lot of death. It's this thing where they're a little bit untouchable, and
plot armor.
That's the one.
The only thing I think that will justify this current decision for me is if it really plays off with, like, the second, like, now that we're done with the battle.
I could have sworn, though, that Cersei wasn't going to be the arch nemesis of the entire season. I know it's called the Game of Thrones, and it does end at the Thrones, but, like, when you think of season, because I watched it all again, season 1, episode 1, it introduces the White Walkers and the Whites as the threat, and everything was centric around that. You know, and so to have that eliminated, and it's like, oh, that's right, Cersei's just sitting there waiting. You're like, that's where I think the anticlimactic part comes into it. But to kind of say that that takes away from the episode isn't true. I thought it was nail biting. I thought that the stress factor was super high. I didn't know that I could stress drink, but that's what I was doing. I was smashing beer.
I found out I could hold my breath for 82 minutes. Like, I had no idea I had that ability. I mean, I literally was sitting there, I'm like, my heart is beating so hard, it's making my eyeballs shake in their sockets. Like, I was so nervous.
Yeah, and it's really, really good storytelling. I think that we were kind of like expecting and waiting for big monumental deaths.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like, we're nitpicking on this show because that's the whole point of
because
the show.
we love it so much.
But I think that episode was some friggin' phenomenal TV. I mean,
it's beautiful. I mean,
hot take. I kind of liked that battle better than, I think you know where I'm going with this.
Bastards.
Hard Home?
Endgame.
Man, Endgame.
Oh.
Thanks, Mom. Jeez.
I also feel like it's not just that people survived, it's that almost everyone else is dead, but the, like, 4 main people who, like, not one of the, like, I love them all, I don't want them to die, but it felt very much like, how did everyone else die around you, but our 4 people?
Uno, how did this one fucking survive? Samuel Tarly. No, okay, but I
thought he was dead like 4 different times.
Like, right when I started to like him because he started being his own, like, person, then he acted like such a wiener during that battle.
Oh my God, someone needed to take him aside and be like, you're a woman and a child. You're a woman or children, and you're going down in the crypt. Like, you got lucky a few times.
My favorite part watching that sequence is that I had subtitles on, and it literally says sniveling. When it was him on the ground, it was sniveling.
I want to point out that even though I knew the internet blew up with like the darkness, but I didn't have that problem, and I did. I love
you guys are skipping
the images.
Ahead.
I want to just my biggest thing about the episode overall is that the images were out of control, just gorgeous. And the one that sticks in my head is the onslaught of the Whites as they're crawling like ants over each other onto the Dothraki.
Yeah, best. You know, I'm not even a fan of zombies anymore. Probably the best zombie scene I've seen ever, possibly.
Or the Unsullied, I mean.
Yeah. And also the dark, sort of the playing with smoke and dark and snow and fire and those sweeping landscape shots of everything happening, and you're seeing either the lights go out or lighting up. It was a gorgeous
episode. And the 2 dragons above the clouds, my God, like pure D&D.
Yeah. But not really many wolves. Hey, like, what happened to those wolves?
They're big and they bite people. Where are they?
He was running.
Ghost is okay.
I know.
I think I feel like Ghost's okay.
He is.
He's
confirmed.
Is he?
I
Oh,
checked.
he is confirmed. You checked? Okay, good.
Best 3 seconds of the episode, guys.
I mean, I'm just proud I saw him.
Yeah.
You know, because I know a lot of people got mad about that last week. Anyway, social media was abuzz with discussion about the look of the episode. Kind of like what Amy was saying. It was very dark and things were difficult to see at times. Amy, we know your answer, but
I didn't.
And I also agree with you. I think it made, like, the dragon fire on top of, like, the whites and stuff that you could barely see. So much more powerful. But I could see where, like, I had to watch that entire episode with the lights turned off to watch the show, and I have a really good TV.
I also have a really good TV. I would be very interested to see how many of those people had that complaint that are on the West Coast, because I watch the East Coast feed, because I'm not getting spoiled by anyone, baby. So I always check in on the East Coast feed, and I was in my living room, blinders off, everything. It was still a touch too light for me to be able to see a lot. So then I had to go back and watch it when it was darker. And I have a good TV, so I do wonder how many people who had the I can't see anything complaint, that was why.
I wonder if it's like a video game where, and when you're playing a scary game or elements of a scary game, and they're like, hey, here, adjust your screen brightness just till you can see the very bare minimum, you know, to add to the fear factor. I wonder if that was a conscious decision rather than, you know, feed issues or compression issues or just. I don't know
if it was the darkness as well. I think because there were like 750 extras that made up this fight. I think when there's so much going on and the colors are quite muted, I wasn't sure which dragon was fighting.
No.
And like, you know,
they needed to have like a tattoo of
just
like number 1, number 2.
Just so inconsiderate.
You know, I always looked at the wings in order to find out who at least was who was the Night King dragon at that point.
There was one image that I was like, oh, Braun's here. Like I thought Braun had come, but maybe all bearded white men look the same to me.
There was a lot of them in the show, because that is the show. That's Game of Thrones.
There was a lot. All right, well, let's get into the biggest moment of the show. Arya killing the Night King.
Yes,
a
girl did that.
Yeah, that was real good.
Oh my gosh.
Up until it happened, we were all under the impression that Jon Snow would probably be killing the Night King, but Arya managed to save the day. What did you think of how they flipped the script?
2 thumbs up. Yeah, amazing. It needed to happen. I was so, oh my gosh. And brown eyes, green eyes, blue eyes.
You're just like, oh, and then she just dipped, and I was like, oh my god, she's gonna.
And Clegane's like, duh, fuck. And she's out of there. It was so great. The image of her face, the entire room gasped. We were like, it's her.
Yeah, and I also think that that moment when she's just, because I was really worried for her in this episode last week, because we haven't seen her in a battle sequence. We've seen her do a lot of one-on-one, and I loved everything with the library that she was in, and it was like a thriller, like a suspense thriller movie, which is one of my favorite things in the world. But that she, when she's fighting and giving it her all, and the Hound is like, nope, I'm noping out. This is not happening.
It's the fire.
And Sir Beric goes, you know, tell it to her, and she's just after it, and it just gave me. And all the parallels with season 1 that she sneaks, you know, I was reading that she sneaks up to Jon in that same area in the first episode, I think.
And
this
didn't
like
she
quiet.
have the dagger in the same area?
Yeah.
I also like the fact that they didn't make her so OP, because she is pretty hardcore. And she was doing really well, but I like that she took a really decent beating right before
I was still
we get
worried
to the
for her.
Yeah, because you were worried for her the whole time. It didn't seem obvious.
No.
Up to that point, I thought, wow, is she killing Melisandre because of the blue eyes thing? And and I was like, wait, is that the connection? Because Melisandre had also said that like I'm gonna die tonight, so you don't have to murder me. And I was like, is that a thing? And then, you know, I didn't know. And then, so I was legitimately, maybe I'm an idiot, but I was legitimately shocked when it was her that did the whole Night King in.
There was slight foreshadowing though. So Beric and Hound, when Hound's having his freak out moment, I thought it was because of the flames. And you realize.
I thought it was because of the flames
And he's just like, we're fighting death. You cannot win against death. Who did though? Arya Stark. She literally has trained with the god of death. So anyone who could get death would be her. But here's this is what I wish happened. Hear me out. Okay, so with the whole battle, right, I feel like you had the Night King and all the White Walkers who played no part in this battle. How cool would it have been if Arya at one stage was able to kill one of the White Walkers, one of the side men, and got his face.
I know, I thought that we were going
to do that. And then stood beside him as the second, right-hand man, and then did a sneaky shake because
all the like hardcore people didn't really play much of a role in what was going on. Like
except Lyanna.
That's it. Cool. Well, I'm talking like not to say Lyanna's not A-list, but A-list, we're talking like Dany and Jon Snow are flying around.
Treading air.
Even the Night King's kind of like flying around and just walking.
He did another one of his dances.
I know, I loved it.
Although I did like his smirk. I thought his smirk was quite...
he's got some facial mobility. He's not just a Botox guy.
Did the Night King get it? Is that what we're wondering?
I was like, oh wow,
I'm
you
going to
do
pass
have
on that
emotion.
one, but no king shaming here.
Jonathan in chat wants to know if Arya's heard of the Avenger Initiative after this episode.
Too soon.
Did she make a good
I think Melisandre should have been like, what do we say to the god of death? And she would have been like, oh yeah, we say, what up? It's you again, oh my gosh.
I'm sure there's a meme out there somewhere. Now, Arya has had one of the most engaging arcs across the series, even in these last few episodes, or first few episodes of the last season. How do you think she will handle this hero status going forward, and do you think it will lead her to getting too cocky when she comes up against Cersei?
No, too much what?
What?
What? That's why she got her power, right?
No, she had her.
What?
No, she had her
She
power.
was
Then she
satisfied.
relaxed right before she
That's
let
it.
off some steam.
Arya needed a man to get her power.
No, I think I meant.
The power of crossing things off your bucket list.
Yeah, there you go.
She's
Yeah.
done everyone on the kill list.
She's
to
been
get
all
a
over
new
the world.
list.
Didn't he do this in Empire before the dude had his soliloquy to the camera and he sat there and jerked off and then was like, now I can do this? That's kind of just what happened.
Look, you know, she took her season away when she was doing her summer abroad over in the other parts of the world.
Yes.
She's seen everything. She just needed to do that one, and now she's ready to graduate and go to college, which I guess is just murder.
That is... And then, she had her summer,
Relatable.
All right, so do you think, though, that she's going to get a little too big for her britches right now?
Unfortunately,
a little too confident?
What actually is going to happen is Jaime's going to get set up to kill Cersei, be conflicted, not be sure if he can do it, and then Brienne's going to come in for the kill.
Not Tyrion is. It's in the Fate from Maggie the Frog.
It's one of them. Or... I don't know if this is going to happen anymore because I feel like Arya got a big moment and it seems like they're parsing these out for the plot, but I thought Arya was going to get Jaime's face and kill Cersei with Jaime's face, so it's still part of the prophecy.
Yeah.
Is she going to have a twofer, though? I think she's had a
No,
time
that's
to
what I'm saying. After this, I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe Tyrion, maybe Jaime finally gets to that place, but I think it...
Who was first
Although
born out of the
prophecies,
twins?
who knows?
Yeah.
Cersei was.
So Jaime's technically younger brother.
Yeah. I've also wondered if...
That's in the book.
Yeah.
No, the prophecy is in season 4, episode 1.
Oh, with the flashback?
Yeah.
I've also wondered if
Season
maybe...
3?
Because prophecies aren't always perfect. It would have been interesting if it's not that he kills her, but if he gives Brienne the okay to kill her.
Ooh.
You know, like if Brienne's
that's
ready to
true.
do it, but of course she's conflicted because her and Jaime have that won't they chemistry? And he can't do it himself, but he tells her to do it, and that's also...
I will say it seems like, especially with this episode, and maybe, obviously we have more and it can change, but it does seem like it's kind of like following a certain storytelling path where everybody has, we're getting a little bit of closure. Certain people are having their moment to shine. I don't know if they're going to go off too hardcore from what we all expect. So it
see.
still
It's
very
kind of
well
a
could
bummer.
be just Jaime doing it.
Yeah,
Or,
I'd love for Sansa to do it.
She has
her to
resentment
do everything.
brewing through her.
What
and
if it's so anticlimactic? It is just Bronn, and he just accidentally with a crossbow is like, "Oh shit, I'm so drunk. Oh shit, I killed the queen."
That would be kind of hilarious, actually. I wonder if Sansa's actually going to have her, because of Missandei? Because she overheard Tyrion and Sansa talking shit in the crypt about Dany. I'm wondering, and Dany's looking for an excuse to get angry with Sansa, and because she doesn't like the fact that Sansa doesn't give a shit about her. I'm wondering if that's going to come into play, and Sansa's actually might be screwed over before the season's done.
I think Sansa is smarter than Dany. Or at least more
she's definitely
strategic.
Yeah, she plays Westeros.
Yeah,
she plays
she's learned
Westeros
from
well.
all of the. She's learned from different types of rulers, manipulators, leaders,
Baelish,
all.
basically.
But how to do it in a way that isn't necessarily being like she's doing it for her people more so than I think the hothead that we have in Miss Dany.
Yeah, I think that the moment that we saw her outmaneuver Littlefinger, I definitely, Dany's got nothing on Lady Sansa.
I will say, as much as I dislike Dani, she did kind of redeem herself a little bit for me in this episode. A little bit.
Yeah, by parking the dragon on the ground like an idiot.
Well, that was dumb, but also Jon Snow was an idiot too.
Yeah.
So the two of them are dumb AF.
Who was actually running the battle? Like, who was leading the battle?
Samwell Tarly.
Well, so there was Grey Worm who had that thing. There was Brienne who was taking the left flank.
Oh, that's right.
But
Yeah.
who over? Like, I felt like Tyrion, though I'm glad he made it out and that they kept his brain. It's like it seemed like no one was able to improvise once things went wrong.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, we didn't think they were going to go this fast, and now we can't see the fire. And it's like people are just like winging it, and it didn't seem like anyone was actually in charge, which I think
that is something, I think that might be on purpose though. Like they all had a collective idea of what to expect, but how do you expect the unexpected? And so then it would, like when shit hit the fan, it was like, whoa, let's just try to pull this off as best we can.
Oh man, sorry. We were talking about Sansa, and I just realized Sansa gets people back the way that they've gotten hurt. So with Ramsay, it's like twisted, and so she he sets the hounds on him, and he's eaten alive. Same thing with Littlefinger. She uses her brain, so it's like, what if she uses? What does Cersei do? Have babies? Like what? She just has a baby. Yeah, someone.
Well, she's.
Well, that's the thing. Like she might. Well, most likely is pregnant, so that could be a thing too. And it would, although it wouldn't be a little brother situation. So I don't know. We were actually never really given a good backstory or motivation for the Night King. This is probably one of the bigger sticking points. Ultimately, he was just kind of the big bad evil guy. Were you fine with this, or did you want to see his character fleshed out more?
There's so many things that we didn't really get unfolded. Like, what was the symbolic nature of, that swirl kind of symbol that they were putting throughout, the north of the wall, and then like when they took over.
Just a mic pack.
Just a mic.
Just my pack.
Everyone's on edge. This is amazing. When they took over, was it not the Karstarks, but the Umbers? So like that defined. What did the Children of the Forest? What was their relationship? Why did they have to convert him in the first place to oversee everyone? What was it that man did? So many unanswered questions. It was actually not dissimilar to Snoke in episode 8, where it's like you build up this huge entity. And then the payoff doesn't exist because you don't know why.
Do you think they were planning on a payoff and then pulled back on it and shifted gears because of the prequel that's coming? Yep. I think that's most likely.
Oh, come on, really?
I know, which makes me...
Damn!
I don't think it's a good move for this show necessarily. Like, I think we could have gotten more.
You don't need to tell the whole... We don't need, like... Bran giving full exposition of, and the Night King wants this, know, that we got in the last episode, but something with the universe and the law and the sort of mythology there. I don't think they're going to do this, but I keep thinking there's going to be some sort of misdirect, that there's a threat beyond the Night King that we don't know about, that that might come back at the end. I don't think
they mentioned the spiders.
Something where it just feels like, wait, that's it? Like, we've been building up towards this, and of course a lot of people died, and Arya had her moment. It was really amazing, but what is the deal here? What is it? Yeah.
Everybody's got a boss. Who's the Night King's boss?
Yeah.
And why?
What's his deal?
All right. Yeah, man, what's your deal? That's what somebody needed to say on the battlefield.
What's your deal?
What's your problem?
I mean, that's the first rule of Ghost, right? The ghost appears and you're like, all right, what do you want? to get out of my life.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's break down
Ghost.
the Battle of Winterfell itself. Now, we got some hardcore, rather awesome zombie movie vibes, excuse me, with Arya hiding from the Whites in Winterfell. Besides other amazing scenes, do you think that this was a cool sequence? And was there any moment or scene that you felt more tension regarding during the episode?
I will say, and that was obviously amazing with her running through and having that moment. That moment of Sansa and Tyrion freaking out and then looking at each other and being like, look, if I'm going to die with someone, I'm okay with dying with you, but please don't kill me. Please, I don't want to die. That moment was probably my most breath-holding, like, oh, they gonna die. They're really going to die. So for me, that was a little more than I can't.
That was wonderful.
I disagree. I think that like when you have the tension, like the Dothrakis getting armed up and having their flame weapons,
that was beautiful.
And then riding into battle and then counting to 20 and they're all dead. That for me had the most suspense. That one was like,
they did the Dothraki dirty.
They did them dirty and the Unsullied. I definitely had some feelings about. We have spent so much time, even if we haven't spent it with individual characters, caring so much about the Dothraki and caring so much much about these Unsullied. And so for them to just be cannon fodder and we don't really get a whole lot with them, that bums me out a little bit.
I thought that Grey Worm's days were, like, seconds were numbered.
had
The
all
amount of
these
focus
down.
that they had on his face, and he's tearing up because he's seeing and understanding fear for the first time when he was trained his whole life to not ever be scared. I was like, he's done.
See, I didn't see it as him being scared. I mean, scared, but scared that he was going to die, not because he's scared to die or do battle, but scared because he realizes now that he's
got something to lose.
got a relationship and he's got something to lose, it's going to fucking suck. But he pulled it off, so yay.
Certainly did, didn't he?
But that was what was weird, was that everyone else around them, and it's sort of like the last few people. But I also, the strategy itself to put, the Dothraki and the Unsullied for, like...
The Unsullied I get, though, because they're trained...
troops.
Yeah, they're phalanx.
They're supposed
with
to
the shields
be
and everything.
kind of, that's their jam.
Oh my God, Protect the Retreat was amazing.
I
They said
know.
that, it was like, oh God, y'all are dead.
Yeah.
The moment that you said about Arya and Clegane, it was really strange for me. It took me out a little bit. But is that normal for, like, I don't know, it was like Clegane, Beric, and Arya got a little bit of a like, gonna take a break, gonna find a nice little corner and chill out for a hot second. And it's like, well, no one else is able to do that. I don't know how
Show me the blueprints.
Yeah.
How did they get in there?
Yeah,
I
aren't
think
they
just...
like
Arya's lived there her whole life.
Well,
She
that
knows
I know.
everything
She
about it.
knows.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by her, but them, I guess they were following her.
I think that that moment was to really show that Beric, who had been brought back, 6 times, and we have known that his purpose is for something bigger than who he is. And then it's like he just got stabbed a bunch of times, became a pincushion just so Hound and Arya could make it. And you're like, that was my what moment where it's like, oh, he's died. That means his purpose
Well,
is
he
served.
died in a
This
Jesus
moment,
pose, so that's something.
Well, and his purpose was to make
was a little
sure
weird.
Arya
make sure I
made
could see
through.
the scene. That was his
Oh,
purpose.
yeah.
Just get it light so I
fire
can see what's
helped.
happening.
I gotta move on, but I do want to just make a quick comment. I do agree in regards to the library situation. I liked it. I just thought it was like a beat too long, just a touch too long. Anyway, meanwhile, Theon was tasked with protecting Bran, who decided to take a quick trip as the three-eyed raven. Quick trip or nap?
Oh my God.
During the height of the battle, what do you think he exactly was trying to pull off?
Jessica, you're gonna love this. When I saw that, I was like, that is the Y option in Mass Effect. Commander Shepard just going,
yeah, so-
I should go.
It was. Yeah, I'm out. Peace. I'm going to take this quick. I mean, the only thing I can justify out of that entire scene/sequence was to kind of like goose the Night King and be like, yo, I'm here. Let him know where he was.
Oh,
and
using
also
his
taunt him a
powers.
little bit with the ravens. But that was kind of it.
was he
That's all I got.
scoping? Was he using the ravens as like
Well,
a
he didn't tell
surveillance over
anyone.
the wall?
I thought he was kind of just like taunting the Night King because he was like, meh, 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 all around
I was waiting for him to
them
take
and-
on Viserion or,
too.
Just do
Yeah.
something epic with his power that he has. I mean, the thing about Bran is that there are so many characters that's life's purpose has been to protect him, to get him where he is. We've lost Jojen, we've lost Hodor, whose life is to protect him. And he's just sitting there like,
I will give him the Doctor Strange sitch at the end of Infinity War where he's like, listen, you guys aren't going to believe me when I say this. I'm actually maybe the biggest badass in the room because I know what's going to happen. So I'm going to I got to sacrifice you because this is only going to happen one way.
It's also a little dumb, trying to get someone to fulfill a prophecy by doing specific things. But that was the other reason I thought maybe something else is going to happen later. I think I'm going to be disappointed. But the fact that he's gone for that long and that it just felt like we're not done with this.
Yeah. His
You know?
pacing was a little weird.
Yeah.
I agree.
Why was he gone for so...
I mean, was it that long?
And did he
Maybe
need to
not.
be super, him wide-eyed and him normal-eyed? Same brand, same brand. So did he
one
have to
speaks
be
a little bit.
Yeah. Did he have to be checked out for Arya to, have her prophecy or whatever?
he was just waiting. He was using himself as bait. That
Yeah.
was all true.
Yeah.
I was for a second I thought maybe he was sending he was warging so he could send someone a message, and I was like, do we like anyone enough to send them a message?
I love that.
He was sending that Night King a message like, hey, I'm by the tree.
It was cool that
I'm
he at
sorry.
least has upped his power from one raven to 12. Yeah, a flock.
I will say
A
though,
murder.
he did have
know
one
I
of my
love that
favorite
term.
lines in the entire episode, and that's when he told Theon that, you are home, you are a good man. I was like, oh,
I felt like a tarot read.
That was a lovely
because that was
moment.
all Theon was looking for in the end.
Yeah.
Was that forgiveness and validation. I just that was a good scene.
Both, you're home, this is your family.
Yeah,
you're not just, a ward. You are here where you belong.
Yeah, you're not
exactly
a prisoner.
where you need to be right now.
But yeah, because that was so much of his arc was like, I wanted this to be my family. You never treated me like you were my family, and I'm real bummed. And so for it to be Bran, who's like, you are home, giving him that almost famous moment, it was wow.
Yeah.
There you are,
So while manning the walls of Winterfell, Jaime and Brienne managed to make it out of this episode alive, despite the closure and acceptance that we saw Brienne get last week, which was also a great scene. What do you think that this means for the pair? Will Jaime get to kill Cersei with Brienne's help or without, or what do you think?
Hell yeah. I also want to shout out myself for last episode. I got a lot of that shit right for who was going to win it, live and who was going to die. I had a lot of people living, which I felt weird about, but now I'm validated. I think that Jaime and Brienne are going to team up on Cersei.
I actually don't want them to have a romantic relationship.
No, I don't either.
I think it's super platonic, actually.
Yeah, they respect each other.
But he just needed someone to take his kind of like obsession away from his sister and show that there is more out there and that someone's going to have his back. That's not a manipulative, awful person.
Yeah, I think it's really cute if this does wind up being that they're super attracted to each other. But one thing I appreciate is platonic relationships, because I feel like specifically in media, we prize romantic relationships so above platonic relationships. I think that actually is kind of really unhealthy, and it can lead to things like resentment and almost feeling cheated if you don't get that romantic relationship in real life. So like, yes, please show more of I love you and I care about you. I don't have to want to bang you to feel deep love for you. I like seeing that on TV.
Like Harry met Sally, but without them actually getting to that point.
Actually, Bumblebee did a good
up
job
to that
of that.
point.
Yes.
What did you say?
I just saw it on the plane. Bumblebee did a good job of that. Where you think that there's a relationship the whole time, and he goes to hold her hand, and she's like, "No, we're not there yet," and you're like, "Yes."
Yeah. Or ever will be. Yeah.
Tyrion and Sansa too. I felt like that was also a moment of respect, and they've been through so much together. And Sansa and Theon. And it feels like anytime a female character on this show has a moment with a dude, they're like, are they going to get together? It's like, just let them be pals and who respect each other. Let Brienne get with Tormund because she's definitely into it.
Let's be honest. That's the only pair that we want to have.
I think she's awkward, and when in the second episode when she's like, I'm glad you made it back. Okay, whatever. It's fine. I was like, oh,
Well, she's got a lot of damaged issues, like especially when she was kind of sharing what her upbringing was like. How she was, people made fun of her and pretended that she was beautiful just to, despite her. So she's got trust issues big time. She doesn't know that she's beautiful. But when she smiled last episode, oh my God, was that the most beautiful thing you've ever seen?
Such a little goofball. I love her.
I've stared at that picture and GIF so many hours this week.
All right, well, throughout the battle, we got some moments with the rest of the supporting characters. Sam coming out to join the fight, although what was the point of that? Podrick fighting with Brienne, Gendry fighting super hard, and the Hound and Beric helping Arya. Now, there weren't a ton of consequences, like we discussed before, which we will continue to discuss. But what did you guys think of the battle scene overall?
I found it riveting.
Yeah.
Like like the images, the blood, the exact amount of overwhelm was amazing.
The whole thing was so well done. You could feel that people were getting tired. And you could feel that people were getting severely injured and hurt. And I thought that was some amazing I don't think I've seen a battle that way in a movie. That was amazing television.
Well, I think that the comparison that people have been using, and I got this as well, I hadn't seen something like this since Helm's Deep, in Lord of the Rings. Where it was just like that onslaught and that helplessness, and you're like, what are we going to do?
World War II, the number, almost a little bit, like looking at it, it reminded me the sort of gray, and you have all of this dust, and it just felt very visceral too. But
the moment where the whites build themselves as bridges was devastating.
We saw it in Hard
Home. Man, you guys finally got a bit of a respite, and then I was like, oh no. Like, the minute the first one walked in, I'm like, oh no.
You're not dealing with people. You're dealing with things that will use themselves as objects to advance. I just want to drop some facts though about this episode. They did 55 night shoots in a row, 55 nights to get this all happening.
Those poor actors.
And was it 11 weeks?
People, they're gonna die.
750 extras, and then this is the longest battle in minutes in all of movie and television history.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So they did supersede
You know what? And there
Helm's
wasn't
Deep in that.
a point of it that I was like not riveted.
Yeah.
There was not a moment of it that I was like
The pacing
bored.
was spot on.
So that's what the creators were super concerned with, because they say that when you actually have a lot of battle, you can be fatigued quite quickly. It just gets uninteresting because it's just the same thing over and over again, which is why they wanted to develop the character story in between it, and which is why I think that they used Arya's library or moment to create a new, different type of tension instead of just onslaught.
No, that's a very good point. Yeah. Gives us a chance to breathe and recollect and kind of quickly download what we've just witnessed too. And like you said, kind of shift gears into a different type of fear. It's still fear and tension, but maybe not as in your face, which I'm totally down for. I didn't even think of it like that. That's brilliant. Yeah.
And that first like opening sequence, that following Sam and then Tyrion and everyone through making their way to the battle, and you're seeing everyone prepare, and also how little dialogue there was except in the quiet moments between characters. It's even Dany when she's grieving everything, it's all just people, it's just noise and face and everything because they're so overwhelmed. And it was extremely claustrophobic when I saw it when they're climbing up the castle. I was just like, I can't handle it. And on the dragon too, it was like,
it was a lot.
You've gone from having like agoraphobia, where it's like this large, giant scope where you actually can't see what's out there, but you know that it's a giant mass, to then once they penetrate the walls, you have claustrophobia because it's like, oh my gosh, there's not enough room for this.
On bodies.
Yeah, you had, and then of course it was so dark that you were scared of that too.
Do you have anything you want to
add? No, that's about it. Again, I appreciate, because I'm one of those people who definitely blanks out during a battle scene. Especially, I loved, Xena and all those shows, but when they would do those long battles where it's just like swords and maybe occasionally kicking, I conk out and I wait until something comes up. So yeah, I appreciated going from battle horror to suspense horror to those little tiny moments.
Yeah, that was really well done. All right, so now's the time for the In Memoriam segment. On Nerdist.com, Kyle Anderson has an article up ranking all of the deaths during the Battle of Winterfell, so let's take a moment to discuss the losses and the sacrifices made during the Great War. Theon has brought audiences on a wild ride since season 1. Do you think this was a good conclusion to his arc, and was he a good man dying at home where he belongs, like Bran said? I think yes.
Absolutely. Theon. You did it.
Not super convincing for
No, you did it.
Well, I mean, when Bran starts using fate and being able to see the past and future, they take all choice out of it. So it's like, you are supposed to be right here. So there's no questioning it when that happens.
Either way, too, he keeps saying this is it made you who you are. So it brought Theon to be able to save Sansa and have that moment with her. Jaime and Tyrion both reflect in the last episode about becoming better people, self-betterment. All those things are because of the Game of Thrones. Everything that's happened led them there, whether it's choice or not. It made them who they are.
You know what I really appreciate? That this amazing thing that we've seen in pop culture for a long time, the last minute redemption. So it's like you're evil your entire life, and then you do one good thing and everything's forgiven.
I can't see it snap anymore and not go
sorry.
there.
I'll stop clicking. Too soon. But in this case, it's like he spent like 4 seasons in his redemption process. Like he lost everything, and then he's pretty much individually saved every remaining Stark in some capacity.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Oh,
he wound up being a better fighter than I thought too. I was like,
he was trained.
I thought he might be trained.
Yeah, but
is he gonna run? He ran the last.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's why when he stayed and sacrificed himself, it meant so much more. All right, so Ser Jorah of House Mormont, he died as he had lived. Basically just being Dany's bitch. Letting Dany down. What do you guys think? I was like, whatever.
I mean, I knew he was gonna go, but I love his character for how just one track mind he is for her, and so being able to just, that is the best death for him, I think, to know that he saved her. Like it's not like, she was
I'm glad
safe.
he went out the way that he did because it made him happy.
Yeah, I wasn't
surprised. I'm sure he's not thrilled, but but I also kind of just but the one track mind thing for me with Dany for a while, I was like,
literal white knight, literal milady.
Wow. Yeah.
It's like, okay.
That was probably one of my few moments when it's like we've seen the onslaught that happened beyond the wall. There is so like it was a tidal wave. You couldn't escape. It was like a death cloud coming in. And then all of a sudden he's on that side of the wall and he's able to save Dani at the most convenient time. Like how did he have eyes on her? How did he survive
I assume
that
he
the
always
whole
has eyes
time?
on her.
I mean, that I get.
fair.
But like
Gotta
to be able to
Google alert.
navigate that, like he's the
Like
only
GPS tracker.
guy on that side of the wall. How did
That's
he?
how I felt about Brienne and Podrick and that whole group where it's like everyone else around you has fallen. How did you? There've got to be other people who can fight here.
I mean, Jaime's lost his hand for trying to protect Brienne. Like that's when consequences were really like in effect here. No one lost a limb. No one lost a tooth.
No, yeah, John made it back. Even John making it back into the keep from being surrounded.
Oh my gosh, how?
That was so annoying. John was such an idiot. Like, what
he
are
knows
you?
nothing.
He needed to Theon in that
you
moment,
don't-
didn't he? You need to
Yeah.
run and stab.
He better not end up
Stay
the
on the
king because he
dragon.
doesn't deserve to be king.
Still slow on the take.
He
also
slow
doesn't
on the
wanna-
take.
I mean,
Yeah,
He survived a
You have a
situation though.
dragon. Like, why would you get off of the tank?
Because you're a Stark, and that's what's
Yeah, right. Just
But that's the thing is too much. I think he's too much like Ned in that he does. You need to be strategic in certain circumstances, or
I don't know. I think the world needs a little bit more.
no, you need
Ned.
some. No, I think you need some of that. But I think that Sansa and Arya have
the best of both.
elements of both, where
Yes.
they're not, where Sansa realizes, okay, you know what, I do have to go down here if we're gonna make anything happen past this.
I think that
guess how ineffective. Like, guess how worthwhile your honor is once you're dead. Jack shit.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
You can't help.
You're
Yeah,
dead.
I
You
think
can't help.
John and Dani are the literal yin yang of this series, where she's white and he's black, where she's hot headed and he's quite calm and he's able to be rational. I think they really, really complement each other well. Now that they're boinking, it's like, well, yeah.
He would actually be a good hand of the king versus the king.
Maybe Master of Laws. I just did a whole
Something-
thing on
oh, really?
of who I wanted my dream council fantasy draft.
Wow, I didn't know that was a thing.
This episode
I just
completely
needed to share it.
completely messed up my Game of Thrones March Madness bracket.
Yeah,
It's done.
yeah.
All right, well, when Melisandre said that she wasn't going to last the night, did you expect the ending that she got? I gotta say no. I didn't think so.
I did think as she was walking off, she was going to burn the bodies to like help clean up a little bit, but that's fine.
And I don't understand.
Can you pick up after yourself?
I don't understand why she decided to sacrifice herself. Was she
think she
tapped
was
out
just
of
done.
power, or she's just like, I'm
No, her
tired
whole
of this
purpose.
shit, so
I
I'm
think
done.
she was done.
Her entire purpose
I
was
mean, I
to
don't know
the Lord
why
of
you
Light.
last that long, only to be like, okay, well, this one finally tipped me over the edge.
Her entire purpose was to protect the chosen prince, to lead them in victory against this fight. So that was her entire purpose, and that's when she's like, yeah, I don't need to exist
I mean,
more
I
than
had a lot
tonight
of
because it's
purposes
done.
in life, and when I check them off my checkbox,
New
I
ones
don't
appear.
go
New
and
ones
jump off a
appear, yes.
building. You know, like other things happen.
What ultimately brought her down, though, falling to the ground, was gravity and tatties.
I gotta say, I thought it was kind of funny that. This actually, I don't know what I should say. I mean, like, just because she's old, why are her clothes falling off? That was a little weird to me. Like,
I thought she was like
Wayfish.
disintegrating, sort of. Yeah, wasting
Fantasy
away.
universe.
she was Thanosing.
I thought that
Yeah.
she was going to, right when she was about to set the second fire on the trenches, that she was gonna like erupt in flames,
Yeah.
sort
That's
of
what I
like a
thought,
dark
yeah.
Phoenix
It's like a
type
kamikaze
thing.
bomb kind of deal.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
what
word,
I
the
was
word
thinking.
trenches just means something different to me. I think they did shallow ditch version of a trench, and like my version of a trench is just enormous, like
Like a
monsoon
moat.
season. Yeah, a
Like
moat.
this high.
Well, a
It's
moat
high
is
as the
a
background,
moat.
Yeah.
So, and a ditch is a ditch.
Right?
So, what's the trench?
Guys, what's a trench?
Isn't that, yeah, okay. I can hear you say Jesus Christ. I can actually hear our producer verbally roll his eyes. All right, so the Lord of Light brought Beric back for a reason, to keep Arya alive long enough to stop the Night King. So where are we going with that? Is there a question here?
Oh,
Do you
because
know
he's
that?
one of the deaths. He's one of the deaths.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, yeah. We kind of already discussed it.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, We needed to get there. It was nice.
Yeah, I like it. All of these deaths are very important. They had their like momentous parts. It's just like kill Samuel. Like he had to die. Like not like kill him. No, not kill him. But you needed one big person to die. Obviously, give them their moment. These people did have their moments. But yeah, it just felt like a little bit cowardly.
Yeah, even Gilly was doing more than he was doing.
Oh yes.
Not surprised.
Gilly
for the Iron Throne. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, maybe because of the whole situation between him telling John about Dany and the bloodline. Maybe he has a bigger part to play in phase 2
I think
of
he
this.
does. So why put him on the front line?
I
That
agree.
is crazy to
I
me.
know poor Dolores, was it Dolores Ed? He sacrificed his own life to save him, and then you're like, oh, come on. You know this is fuel for him to have his moment.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's on the ground squealing like a pig. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then he ran, and then he did, like
He
he
knew
just
it
booked
too,
it.
yeah.
He should have been downstairs. He's like the smartest person.
Yeah.
And he
in
knows the
Winterfell.
history of all
Grand
these
Maester,
things.
yeah.
He's got all these secret
Yeah.
books and stuff. Come on.
Yeah, it was that one. Yeah, Samuel was really odd this particular
wing and a
episode.
miss.
All right, so Dolores Ed, the 999th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Did you expect the Night's Watch to play a bigger role in the defeat of the White Walkers, considering that is kind of their whole shebang?
Oh, yeah.
That's gotta be weird for them. You go up to take the Black, you go to Castle Black, and like, no, it's this, 17-year-old or however old she is, 18-year-old, and you've been training your entire life to fight a zombie horde. It's like, why did I give up my freedom?
Well,
it's so cold.
I think it's all relative because at this point the Night's Watch has very few members in
Yeah,
it.
they're
and
mostly
compared to the
gone.
Unsullied and the Dothraki who haven't
That's a good
really
point.
been in a big battle, they I don't know what their numbers were, but it was maybe 100, not
whoever
not
was
many.
able
They
to
did
escape.
kind of rot from the inside out a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
because they had the, the ones who turned against them. They also, when they were coming back from the wall
Collapse, man.
collapsed, and
On
then on the way they all started fighting for the Night King. The ones who fell. So
Yeah.
there were so many dead people.
All right. Lyanna Mormont, the tiniest giantess.
The little bear.
I love her so much.
She's great.
She got the hero's death that she deserved.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Perfect.
No more Mormonts or no
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
like,
the house is out.
They're out.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What's going on with
losing
them
Jorah.
I mean,
as
I
well.
think even with Jorah,
And also
they weren't even. He's not even
the commander
part
of the
the family,
Night's
right?
Watch.
No,
seasons
he's
ago.
exiled for slavery.
Yeah, so she was legit the last one. Yeah.
Overwhelmingly, chat's favorite was Lyanna Mormont's death, and also with
Yes.
DJ11 gave an RIP to their house as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one really made me sad because I would have been also just as happy to see her stay alive.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Well, we lost the Umbers the first episode of season 8. The Karstarks, apparently, if you guys look, the Lady Karstark, who's the head of the house, she was with Theon's band, and they all pretty much died. So like the Karstarks are gone. Now
King's
we've got the
Landing's been
Mormonts
blown
gone.
up.
Yeah, right.
We're slim on people.
But the thing that's cool about Lyanna Mormont was that she was only supposed to have one scene. The actress playing her. She was supposed to
Oh,
do
really?
one scene, and she knocked it out of the park that they just started building an arc around her.
Love
and she was
it.
so popular that this moment that she had to sacrifice herself just to put the old stake through the eye.
Oh, and also that scene, just when he's grabs her and you can hear it. I was like, oh my
yeah.
god.
Well, she's so fragile. I mean, she's such a.
She's tiny.
She's so stern, and then this bravado is amazing, and then for them to just be like, oh, "You're still a little girl."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And you
still
broke
Well,
got
that's
it.
what I needed from Samuel. Like her being like, no, I know. I should, like, basically, I know I shouldn't be here, but I don't have a choice and I'm fighting for my people and you can't say nothing about it. Like, I needed that from Samuel, and instead he was the last one at the front of the lines. He was reticent to even do it. Like, I don't know.
He was even better when the Knight's Castle, what is it? Castle Black. He even did a lot more then. Like he kind of had it, he stepped up and became a little bit more of a leader, and then he just undid everything this episode.
Which makes me wonder if they have a purpose for dialing him back. For like, because we were starting to like him too much. Like, what do they have planned for him?
And I
Because
wonder
that
if
seems
it's-
very suspicious to go just do that. Like building up to that point, and like you said, kind of getting like growing into his manhood a little bit, and then just taking that hard left for this one.
it's not like he hasn't seen a White Walker before. He's killed one.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's what has anything to do with Dany straight up murdering his family. That was kind of how I took it.
Oh, like he emotionally is just not
He
in
chose
the
that.
right
ready.
spot.
Oh.
Good point.
Suicide mission? Okay.
Also, I think that even though he's I just lost my train of thought. But it's more so that you think you can do something until it's actually right there, the sea of dead happening. But I remember now. What I also think is that all the characters who survived, there are moments where you think they're being eaten alive or things are happening. And so I think they put him in there as one of those to build that tension and to make us really nervous, but then they didn't ultimately kill off most of the main players.
All right. Well, now that we have broken down the episode, let's discuss who was the MVP. Over on Nerdist.com, Lindsay Romaine makes the case that Melisandre is the most valuable player, and while she provided the Dothraki with fire for their weapons, which ultimately ended in failure, and she managed to light the trenches, which ultimately also, well, they bought them some time, but it ultimately didn't do much. She did, however, provide the words of inspiration that sent Arya on her way to kill the Night King, so do you agree with this choice?
I think it's a great choice. I think we got to go with Arya though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I see it. I get that, and I agree. And she helps get there. But yeah, Arya all the way.
Yeah.
Also, when you look at war, I think that a kill count really plays an important role with this. Yes, you've got the schematics and the brain side of it all, and she was able to provide inspiration, which was quickly snuffed out. And she did set Arya to fulfill her destiny in a way. But when you look at war, numbers matter, I feel. And I think Arya fighting by herself, not letting her determination waver once, and then landing that blow with the old switchblade action, yay!
She's got, the biggest kill count in Westeros right now, or the whole planet?
Well, if you're looking at every single white and
they got reborn again.
Yeah, but then so it's all of them, and then she
55,
gets
and then it
rid
being
of them.
wiped to zero again.
Oh no,
defeated.
that was horrible. I was like, oh no, all your friends.
That's the worst as well. I was actually waiting for a Hodor to show up, or
I thought for sure there would be a Hodor.
Just coming in and Bran's just should have seen that coming. Something.
All right, well, so now that the battle is finally over, we've counted our losses and the Night King is seemingly defeated. Where do you think Game of Thrones goes from here?
It goes south.
Yeah, but
what's gonna happen?
I think
for 3 episodes.
I think I'm finally gonna get what I've been wanting this entire season, which is a little of some duplicitous background weaving of politics that just hasn't been there for these episodes, because I was disappointed in the first 2 episodes. This one made it feel worth it, and now I'm like, no, but I still need some Sansa, tapestry weaving.
I feel, and I've been feeling this way, and she's been showing signs of this. I think we're looking at Dany starting to go a little mad queen.
I think so too. Yep.
Burn them all. What I would have liked, hear me out. I do a lot of thinking about and theorizing.
Yeah.
What if the Night King, using Viserion, because he's got the act of flying real fast, while the Whites were attacking, because if you kill the Night King, they all die, he flew to King's Landing.
That's what I thought.
Where there's no protection from a damn ice dragon, undead dragon, and just blows all them to smithereens, changes everyone, and then the dead
Does
walking
he know
from...
about them? We don't know anything about him. Is he omniscient?
He doesn't have talking informants, does he?
Wait, I'm confused. What's the...
So if he flew down to
the Night
King on Viserion, and then just started blowing up all of King's Landing, resurrected all of them, and then they start marching
You have both sides, so you're surrounded.
That.
But yeah, is he
And
like
then
the
that's where we
three-eyed
can get,
raven? Does he know things like he does? What is their relationship? That's what I want to know.
Wait, I thought
How does it work?
he's dead, yeah?
No, but this is what I'm theorizing, what I wish would have happened instead, so that by the time we get the finale...
What show did I watch?
Ghost is confirmed alive. Night King also confirmed still alive.
I was like, wait a minute. Did I see a weird alt cut?
I'm just like, well, that's what I would have.
That would have been,
liked, because I think that the finale in Winterfell, that's how it should have sort of.
I have no idea what to expect besides, I think, Mad Queen Dany. Maybe there's some sort of Night Queen thing still in play. I don't know.
Dany, since she goes nuts, potentially, teams up with Cersei, and then they have to, and then everybody else has to go anti both of them.
I reckon you'd be cool.
Dang it, that would,
and then, or Cersei, because you can never trust Cersei. That was made abundantly clear.
She starts twisting her.
She twists Dany somehow, and then sells her up the river, and then it's still then up to listen. I know it's but she's talking about the Night King being
that would hurt me, but it would be actually very Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
All right, what
Cersei
if
could very easily do that?
So technically, Dany's not betrothed to anyone.
Yeah.
Still, she's a free agent. Euron, who just wanted to be someone, he sees her for the first time and goes, oh, you are a has-been. This is my goddess I've been after my whole life. Turns the fleet against Cersei, because he kind of technically got what he wanted anyway. That's a possibility.
I know. I like it, but I also hate Euron, and I think he's a douchebag. So I really don't want him to have nearly the amount of power and manipulation over.
I love
that
Euron.
I
love Euron.
Yeah, but Eurons don't make a right.
What did you just say?
Eurons don't make a right.
Oh, Maud, you were the MVP of today's show. That was great. Damn, I love a good time.
I think I think it's gonna wind up being Dany versus Jon, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cersei's the one who stokes those flames. Like, oh, you really think that in the end he's going to not claim his throne?
What if we're doing
pokes the bear?
She pokes the bear.
Arya face work. We've got Arya dressed up as Jon Snow. She's got a suspicion that Dany, might be trying to take Jon Snow out. She goes in as Jon
Doesn't
Snow.
Doesn't she have to kill him to get his face?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
But he has been dead.
He has been.
Oh.
Anyway, Daenerys kills Arya dressed as Jon Snow. Then Jon Snow's
just
like,
walks
"Oh,
around and he's just a meat
you killed me. I'm gonna kill you." And then
real
Jon Snow
face?
takes the throne.
How do the faces work?
I think she carves them
She
off.
carves them up, but they move. But then it's
seamlessly
magic.
put on.
What
You
magic?
take the face off. Is how it works.
Great movie.
Impossible machines.
Oh yeah.
Barf. And with that, let's take a look at next week's coming up.
We have won the Great War. Now we will win the last war. We'll rip her out root and stem.
All right, looks like Cersei and Euron are giving things a really good go.
You know what? I appreciate morning after boyfriend robe.
I did like the color. That's a good one.
He's standing behind her.
Yeah.
Dany's
Where is
definitely gonna piss everyone off.
Yeah, Dany is out of control.
I think she's just gonna be sort of like that. It's the sort of like a Great Hall cheers scene that does it for me for some reason, where it feels like she might like take credit for everything.
Well, did you notice that it was her and Missandei and Varys? So all of her people were at the top of like the area, which was usually where Jon and Sansa would sit.
Oh yeah, that's
and
true.
Sansa's over there
Where's
looking
Tyrion?
real mad.
Yeah.
Sansa is not impressed.
No, and I think Tyrion's gonna kind of defect to Sansa.
Well, when you realise that Sansa is more clever than Tyrion, and Tyrion has been absolutely miscalculating every decision this season and last. I mean, he's cost Dany like half of her army. So I think he's like, I just can't work well with her, but Sansa, he could. But then Johnny's actually going to defect over to Dany's side because of his dick. So that's like a whole other thing as well.
Well, aside from that, what do you guys think about like potentially getting the Clegane Bowl? And does it even matter since we saw the Hound kind of have a massive panic attack in the middle of a battle?
That poor guy.
I kind of don't care about the Clegane Bowl anymore.
I think that he'll want to redeem himself. I do. I think that something will happen where the Mountain's gonna go after one of his babies, maybe Arya.
I think
and I think that he's gonna want to, maybe Sansa, and I think he's gonna want to redeem himself.
Well, because he spent all of season 1 protecting Sansa in King's Landing.
And they
that
still
would be a
haven't
lovely.
had a
That's true.
moment.
I forgot about that.
Since the reunion, right? They haven't. They haven't interacted at all. So I think Sansa might be the one for this because he's had his Arya moment. He helped her get to her place. I think he might save Sansa and sacrifice
This makes me
himself.
wonder what else he saw in the flames. He said he saw the arrowhead, but what else did he see in the flames? Something changed with Arya after that moment because he's gone. Brienne and Hound have basically had very, very similar arcs where they've both protected Sansa at one stage and then they've gone to protect Arya. That's all. I'm just noticing.
All right, and with that, and that's actually written in the prompter, not me just being. Just kidding. Huge thank you again to our guests, Rachel Hine, Amy Vorpal, Danielle Radford, and Maude Garrett. Where can the fans find you guys on your socials?
You can just find me at Danielle Radford on Twitter. You can find me at Danielle_Radford on Instagram.
I'm on Maude Garrett at pretty much every social media, but give Geek Bomb a follow to get those recaps and to get a refresher on seasons 1 to 7 in 10 minutes, because that took me a whole rewatch to do it.
I think it's just massively impressive, actually, that you can not only rewatch them, but also bust that out in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That is it for today's All Kings Considered, or Queens Considered for this episode. If you're looking for more intense Game of Thrones analysis, be sure to watch today's Nerdist News, because we're breaking down why there is more to Arya's prophecy than you think. And head on over to Nerdist.com for more theories and explanations about everything going down this season. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Nerdist YouTube or Geek and Sundry's Twitch so that you can see what we're doing next week for an all-new Kings Considered at 12 p.m. PST Live. Until then, have a great day, and bye.
And what do we say to the God of Death?
Not today!
Hey!